Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilization, and to listen to the newest episode of Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast where we follow two first-time readers, Sheta and Justin, and chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we will be chronicling The Final Empire, chapters 4 and 5. And now, let's throw it over to the host of Cosmere Chronicles. This is Joe! Thank you, Joe. Back once again with Cosmere Chronicles. I am the Joe that is the host, not like the Joe that introduced us before. And once more, I am joined by Sheta and Justin. How are you two doing right now on this day?
Fine as sunshine.
Right now, I'm okay.
All right. That's what people want to hear anyways.
Yes, we hide all our horrible, nightmarish feelings from our audience and pretend we're just happy.
Joe only lets us out to do these podcasts, so yeah.
Quiet, Sheta, quiet. You're going to get us whipped again.
No.
You're only Ska anyways.
Yes, sorry. We did not mean to speak out of turn.
All right, so like I said, this week it's only 2 chapters. Just because that's how everything's split up with it. And how'd you two enjoy the chapters this week?
Enjoyed them. A lot of action, a lot of explanation of how things work.
Yeah, I didn't expect that much action. So it's like, what am I reading, Witcher or what?
Yeah, Mistborn will be a lot more action-y than Elantris. We'll just start off with a question, just see how, get an idea about how you guys go through the story. You have to read for an episode. How do you read it? Do you once you're done, read it right away? Do you wait and read it the day, like today, or do you do a little bit throughout the week? Let's go a little behind the scenes.
Finished my reading. I just finished my reading personally, so that answers that.
Did you try to read right after the podcast, or before the weekend is over? It'll be done.
I'm usually sitting around and then realize, shit, I have a podcast to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I try to read it, earlier the better throughout the week. Some weeks when I'm busy, it's going to take a while. I sit down, read it, write down the notes and shit after each chapter. Anything else you two wanted to bring up before we dive into the chapters?
No, I'm ready to dive.
Yeah, me too.
Time to dive just like Rodney Dangerfield and back to school.
Is Rodney Dangerfield going to be a thing going forward here?
That's only 2 times, okay? We've brought up
too
White Castle
many.
more.
Well, I look forward to seeing who he'll play in this book.
No, maybe we should make Kevin James the official mascot.
No.
Official mascot. If I've got to choose between the two. Hey.
Well, I actually like...
Yeah, but do you want him involved with these stories is the real question.
Probably not.
Then Kevin James it is. Your choice. You just picked it.
Why are we not bringing Awkwafina into the vote here?
You're right. I'm sorry, Sheta.
Yeah, I think she would do really well in the fantasy genre.
No, she doesn't count. She's won a Golden Globe. That's too high a level.
Has she really? For what?
Yeah. Oh, man. It was
her role in Little Mermaid.
Oh, you shut up.
It was a serious role she did. And,
wasn't it in Crazy Rich Asians?
No.
It was Jumanji, wasn't it?
What our fans came for, to learn what Golden Globe Awkwafina won.
Yeah, I might cut. But,
no way, this is the best part.
Best
Golden Globe,
2020,
Best Actress, Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical for The Farewell.
And now you know, dear listeners.
Yep. If that ever were to come up, you'll sound very cool when you know that.
I think that movie, if I remember correctly, that might be one where they made in both English and Mandarin.
What, filmed it twice?
I think so, yeah.
Hey.
I could be wrong. I haven't actually seen it.
Justin, people are refilming all the time over here, so it's the same thing.
What are you talking about, refilming?
Doing reshoots and, wasting time.
How is that the same thing as refilming an entire film?
Well, Harry Potter, whenever they said they had to do 2 shots, one's for a Philosopher's Stone, one's for a Sorcerer's Stone for any scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So there are 2 versions of that movie.
Yeah, it's not unheard of, Justin.
That's a big difference, Sheta.
All right, back to the chapters. So I'm going to go right in. We'll start off with chapter 4 with the epigraph. Apparently, the next stage of my quest will take us into the highlands of Terrace. This is said to be a cold, unforgiving place, a land where the mountains themselves are made of ice. Our normal attendants will not do for such a trip. We should probably hire some Terrace packmen to carry our gear. Any thoughts on that?
Hmm. I'm really curious to learn who is talking and if it's even the same person. And yeah, it's interesting that it adds I don't know, flavor to the chapter, and we learn a lot. I wonder how it's going to be later on when the chapters. How I'm imagining it is they're going to come together until they meet, just like in Avengers. These two
No,
characters.
that wouldn't work because this is clearly so long ago. This
No, no,
stuff
no.
is from
It wouldn't be literally meet. It'd be like they will meet
the
when they
themes
all
and
go.
narratives.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
yeah.
saying? I see.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
No, this is just stuff from a totally different book. Has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, you'll read another book and we'll have epigraphs from Mistborn at the top.
Oh god, that would be so annoying.
Whoa,
Well, it's like
that's
these
crazy.
these two Stephen King books I think came out in like 91, 92. I know one of them was Gerald's Game, but they did like this weird connection to two people through time and stuff where like a woman sees this other woman and then when you're reading the other book you see that same scene from the other perspective.
Yeah, I thought it felt like a weird Stephen King thing.
All right. So we'll start chapter 4. Vin is sitting with Milev's crew as they talk about Kelsier. Kelsier and Doxson have a bit until meeting. Vin thinks about how these crew members never bothered to get close to her and stood by doing nothing while Cayman beat her. One that was evenly with her was Ulif, but even he had betrayed her. Milev's crew believes that Vin was chosen to be the twixt for them. Low-level crews and high-level crews tend to stay apart, but will sometimes work together and use a twixt to communicate between the two. Vin asked them about Kelsier. They tell her that he was the greatest crew leader in Luthadel. He was a legend and robbed some of the wealthiest great houses. Then someone betrayed him, and the Lord Ruler captured him himself. Kelsier and his wife were sent to the pits of Hathsin, but Kelsier managed to escape, the only person to ever escape. They mentioned that he wasn't Allomancer before he went to the pits. Vin asks about his wife. They tell her that she died at the pit. And then Vin also, she thinks about how she is a Mistborn. How could she be one? She was nobody. Vin thinks she has been a slave to Reen, been a slave to Cayman, and now she will be a slave to Kelsier. And, she'll willingly do that if it will lead to her eventual freedom.
I thought that part was interesting. The has been a slave and will willingly keep being a slave if it'll lead to freedom. That just felt like an oxymoron.
It felt like, what twist do you have?
hmm But it felt like anything you're gonna have to do that to get to quote freedom is not gonna be any form of freedom.
Mm.
That's just how much she's been broken down.
hmm It says a lot about the character. She doesn't even really know what the idea is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
hmm
She doesn't know anything about being a slave, so that's just the way.
So then Milev's crew leaves and Vin is alone until two men walk in. One is a man built like a soldier, he has a shirt with no sleeves on, and his name is Hammond. And the other man is in a nobleman's suit, and his name is Breeze. And Vin finds herself wanting to please Breeze. When Breeze mentions that he wants a drink, Vin gladly offers to get one. And Vin goes over, she starts pouring a glass of wine, and Ham makes a warning towards Breeze. Vin then realizes that Breeze had used luck on her. She had felt it when Kelsier did it, but she did not feel it when Breeze did it. Vin says that he made her get him a drink, and he says that he merely altered her emotions to put her in a frame of mind where she'd be more likely to do as he pleased. Bree still asks if she will bring the drink to him since she has already poured it and she has to walk back over anyways. But Vin just leaves the drink on the table and Breeze never bothers to get up to grab it.
It was interesting to see this from the perspective of somebody who's being influenced like that, because, we've seen it from the other side when they get people to do it. But just how quickly you just do the thing that they're suggesting because your feelings tell you to was really interesting to see.
Not so much mind control as just, all right, we'll get rid of these emotions that would make you question it.
Yeah, exactly.
So then Vin sits down and she sits at a different table from them, but she still asks Ham what he does, and he says that he is a thug. He burns pewter, and it makes him stronger. He also runs general security for jobs that they do. And then an older, knotted man enters the room and sits at the other side of the room. Vin asks who he is, and Ham says that he is Clubs, a smoker. He is what will keep them from being discovered by an inquisitor.
It gives us our sense of what smokers are, since we were wondering about that last time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can really feel it from... What's that?
Oh, nothing. Just exactly what I thought.
That they obscure things like that.
Yeah.
And then Ham tells Vin that he likes her, because other Twix have in the past been too intimidated to talk to them, or too jealous. Vin realizes that Kelsier hasn't told them about her being a Mistborn, and wonders why. Is it too valuable of information for him to share? And then another man named Yeadon enters, and he is dressed in simple ska clothing. Yeadon and the other crew members are clearly displeased with each other. And then Kelsier and Doxson finally arrive. They were late because they had been meeting with Kelsier's brother. Kelsier says that Marsh isn't coming to the meeting, but he will join the crew eventually. And then Breeze asks Kelsier about this plan that Kelsier has kept secret from them for 8 months. Kelsier tells them that Yeadon is their new employer. Yeadon is the head of the Ska Rebellion, and he doesn't like their crew because they don't act like true Ska. But he will work with them because they are effective. And when Vin hears that he's part of the Ska Rebellion, she also thinks that Kelsier is planning to do some way to scam the Ska Rebellion out of money.
Another interesting thing about her, how everything they do and say, she's got through the filter of what she's used to seeing, so she can't even fathom the idea that you'd be doing things for any reason except for, to steal for a quick profit.
Yeah, it's a scam. It's a betrayal.
Mm-hmm. She's always like, okay, what's their angle? What are they trying to do?
Yeah, what's their angle? So sad.
And then Kelsier tells the crew that they have been hired to overthrow the final empire. After some back and forth with Yeadon about how the Ska Rebellion has accomplished very little in 1,000 years, Kelsier says that they can accomplish this because they have proper organization and planning. Breeze asks how much they will be paid, and Kelsier tells them 30,000 boxing. And during Kelsier's talks with Yeadon, he mentions that he's already been paid, and this confuses Vin as to why he's still going along with this clear facade about taking down the final empire, because he already has the money that he's going to scam from the Ska Rebellion. Not only are they going to get the boxings for the plan, but they'll also be allowed to take half the atium in the Lord Ruler's treasury. Atium is an incredibly rare metal used only by the noblemen. The Lord Ruler controls it and sells it directly to the noblemen.
I liked what we got to learn about the Lord Ruler in these chapters. He sounds quite fascinating and scary. And I really liked getting to learn about how he uses this metal to keep such control over people. This whole chapter, this and the next one, just felt like just a way to give us information, basically.
Yeah.
Kelsier says that it isn't an easy job, but it can work. They will find a way to neutralize the Luthadel garrison and then throw the city into chaos. During the chaos, Yeadon will march an army into Luthadel and seize the palace, taking the Lord Ruler prisoner. While Yeadon secures the city, they are going to pilfer the atium. After that, it's Yeadon's job to keep. Kelsier says that if they steal the atium, then it'll be a sound blow to the Lord Ruler's financial foundations. Even if he manages to escape, he'll have no way to pay his armies. In the chaos, the provincial noblemen will rebel and set themselves up as kings. The Lord Ruler won't have armies to keep them in line. Ham asks about the coal loss, and Kelsier says the destruction caused by those monsters would be more dangerous than financial instability. Clubs asks about the Steel Ministry. Kelsier says he has a few plans for them. As a crew, they'll have problems. They will come up with ways to work them out. They will have to get rid of the Luthadel garrison. They need to figure out an appropriate way to throw the city into chaos, and they need a way to keep the obligators off their trail. If things work out right, then the Lord Ruler will send out the palace guards and the inquisitors, leaving the palace ripe to strike, and the Lord Ruler won't have money to maintain control of his empire. And Breeze says that the Lord Ruler got that atium somewhere and could go get more. Nobody knows where the atium mine is. Kelsier says that he knows because he spent a year of his life. The pits of Hathsin are the atium mines. The pits nearly killed him, and now he sees things differently. He sees Ska working without hope. Ska rebellions fail because they are too unwieldy and spread out. A small, specialized, and highly skilled team can do this.
Yeah, Sheta, it sounds like your Ocean's 11 thing was pretty much accurate.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's happening. They're doing it. I got a crew together. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it, the way they were talking about people, like, how useful they were and stuff like that. But I didn't think it'd be straight up a crew thing.
It's a straight up heist story.
Yeah. I'm surprised it was like, oh, Franklin, you son of a bitch. How you been? Like, there's kind of moments like that. Like, I think it was really fun how a lot of them knew each other. Like, they all knew each other and stuff, and like they have a history with each other. Like individuals, some of them have worked together before, and some of them have just only heard of the other person and reputation. It's really fun.
Yeah, I think what it is Ham, Breeze, and Dachshund, they had worked directly with Kelsier on most of this stuff before. Since their previous smoker had died, that's why they're bringing in Clubs. And Yeadon is the Ska Rebellion guy that's hired to bring them up. And then you have the little bit of talk about Marsh. So Ham and Breeze, they agreed to the plan. Ham pretty much did it right away. Breeze took a couple words to convince him, along with bringing him his drink that Vin had poured earlier. But Club says that this is idiocy, and he leaves. Yeadon's upset that Kelsier just let Clubs, but Kelsier said he doesn't work that way. He told him a dangerous plan, and Clubs didn't want in. He's not going to assassinate somebody because they decided that it was too dangerous. And Dachshund says they won't invite somebody that they don't trust. Vin doesn't believe this, and thinks that Kelsier is bluffing to keep up the morale of the group. He had been sent to the pits before because of a betrayal. Kelsier probably has assassins following Clubs at this moment. And then Kelsier asks Vin if she wants in. Vin is surprised because she thought that he had a hold over her already. But she agrees to it since she wants to learn what he knows.
More of her perspective, you get a sense for her, but the more she thinks about this stuff, the more you really get to know just how little she trusts anyone around her, just how much what her brother taught her influenced her, and what she's experienced in her life from everyone around her being pretty much the same kind of scummy criminal guy.
Yeah, it's really sad to see how traumatized she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's got really big trust issues.
Yeah, trust issues, and she seems like, I don't think she's wants to be, but she's pretty much a nihilist and assumes everyone else is as well,
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for her to learn that there's nice people.
Unless this book just has everyone betray her and reinforces her the other way.
That doesn't sound like his style.
Yeah, but you could start to trust a little bit and then find out you were right all along, and that would be the end.
That is true, because I love the Kelsier's character, but I am so scared of what he's capable of too.
Yeah, a guy like that is scary.
He's too charismatic.
Mm-hmm. Anyone who's that charismatic and that tortured is a dangerous person in my book.
Earlier in the meeting or everything, you had Vin was talking with Ham and Breeze about mistings and stuff and Mistborn. And Breeze had mentioned, oh yeah, Mistborn, Kelsier is Mistborn, but you're like to never meet another Ska Mistborn. Just bringing that up because now this is where it comes back into play. Because Yeadon asks Kelsier who the girl is. And Kelsier says that she is a Mistborn. And Breeze is just like, oh, haha, look at that. Yeadon doesn't believe a Ska Mistborn is even possible. And so Breeze says, you should try not to talk so much, friend. You'll sound far less stupid.
I always like that kind of attitude.
And then Kelsier, he gets everyone to sit at one table, including Vin. And he pulls up his chair, and he sits down at AC Slater style, and says that there is one more part of the
I don't think anyone's getting that reference. I think you mean Commander Riker style.
Commander Riker is where he always has to step over the chair to sit down in it.
Yeah, he does.
I think you mean Tobias Fuke style.
I think more people will get the AC Slater than you'd realize, especially with
I don't even know who that is.
That's Mario Lopez in Saved by the Bell. He always sits in the chair backwards.
Oh, okay. All right.
Especially with the demographic of this podcast.
Ooh. What's their demographic?
It's 20s, 30s.
Yeah, that's what they say, but it's all 12 to 15-year-olds.
Every episode's marked explicit content. I don't think they'd be allowed to watch.
Well, that's why they say they're 20 to 30.
All right, anyway, so Kelsier, he sits in his chair backwards and says that there is one more part of the plan to warn them about. If he can, he will kill the Lord Ruler. Ham says that's impossible. The Lord Ruler is a Slendy and a god himself. And Vin believes that Kelsier is insane. Kelsier says that he and the Lord Ruler have unfinished business. He took Mare from him. In the pits, Kelsier snapped and awoke his allomancy powers.
That he has a piece of infinity in him, and he's basically part of God himself. That was my favorite part. Because they had referenced that he was, I believe they said he was immortal before, but that he's got this kind of like, he is like a god king to the people is really horrifying to me to learn. Makes me think of like an Emperor of Mankind thing from Warhammer or something.
Well, you need to pay attention to how they talk. When they curse, it's not, oh God, it's Lord Ruler.
Yeah. It's really, really
He really likes
interesting.
those.
Hmm?
I said he really likes those, Brandon Sanderson, like exclamations. Like, I think he finds it really interesting that we take the
Well,
Lord's name in vain.
like
Like
frack and stuff like that. Oh, the religious
yeah,
aspect. Well, yeah, it makes
yeah,
sense if you put it into a
like
different religion that they would have a different blasphemous curse, you know?
mhm.
Yeah,
It
so then
says a lot about a people
Yeah.
how they curse.
Yeah, like Elantris, you'd have like, oh, merciful Domai, and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Kelsier pulls out a metal bar and says that in the north there were legends the Lord Ruler isn't immortal. He can be killed with the 11th metal. There are only 10 allomantic metals, 8 basic ones and 2 high ones. But the Lord Ruler suppressed the existence of the 11th metal. It's the Lord Ruler's weakness. Kelsier doesn't know how it works yet, but he will find out. Killing the Lord Ruler is his job, so they don't have to worry about it. If it doesn't work, then they'll just trick him out of the city and rob him blind. And Vin thinks that she has tied herself to a madman. It doesn't really matter, though, as long as he teaches her allomance. And that's the end of chapter 4.
It seems like some of the religious aspects I like in Elantris, they're turning up to 11 in this one by making it even more ridiculous on what the quote like evil faith that they're going against is what it's built around.
Mhm.
And I love the idea that in this book they're going right for the head of the Hydra right away.
Yeah, I did not expect that. This book is moving so fast. It's crazy.
And keep in mind, this is book 1 of a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Jeez. By the end we'll have like a whole mythic legend. That'd be cool.
Religion. I always like how Brandon Sanderson writes religion. I think that he does a really good job with it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I've just become jaded from reading so many, fictional books where so many of them will just write it like, that all religion's bad and, people are stupid for being a religious person. I
Mm-hmm.
like it where you have ones where it shows the good and bad of it.
Mm-hmm. I liked how even the villains of Elantris, with their religious zealotry, they were still explained, their reasoning and stuff, Like, very few people join a religion just because they want an excuse to be evil. I think even a lot of the people who do that don't realize they're even doing that. And when they see the excuse, they just go with it, So I've really enjoyed the religious aspect of Elantris, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about this, especially if they've got a frickin' God King going, which is always a really fascinating thing.
I guess I also just think at the beginning of Ready Player One, where like right in chapter 1, he has to have like a full page just atheist manifesto just to complain about religion and God.
Dude, I'm seeing more and more of that in modern stuff. I'm not a religious person, never had been, don't even really think highly of it. But dear God, do I hate modern atheists so much. They think they are so frickin' smart. It's crazy.
And like you said before, Brandon Sanderson, he is religious in his faith,
Mhm.
but also his stuff is not like putting in just a pure this is the Christian allegory, all other religions are bad. He's coming up with these other
Yeah.
religions that have conflicting faiths, but still
Mhm.
both sides of those faiths are pros and cons of both of them.
Mm. It looks
It's
like he wants to emulate what that feels like in real life.
I like it because it gets compared to like you were saying, we've seen so much of that other stuff in fantasy. It's kind of a fresh take to see something like this where it's I feel more nuanced. You don't make the characters that are religious just seem like idiot people.
Mhm. There's a lot of very smart religious people in our real world, and there's a lot of really fucking stupid atheists who think they're smarter than them.
Yeah. It's good to just listen and be like, why do you believe this? Or like,
Mhm.
what would make a normal sane person feel this or think this,
Yeah, I
should really
think that this
listen.
specific thing is true, right?
Yeah, should listen.
Mhm.
Maybe learn something about morals, at least.
Yeah. Morals and empathy.
values. Just like
Yeah.
that's the
Mhm.
thing that's missing right now. No one has freaking
Yeah.
values.
That
Anyway,
probably explains why writers like this have been so popular.
yeah.
All right. Anything else from this chapter 4 and this meeting with everybody that you wanted to
Oh, just
go
how
over?
excited I am to see the Lord Ruler. You have no idea. I wanted to see Wern so bad in the first book. Now, Lord Ruler, like Wern was just the highest emissary on earth to be close to God, you know? This guy, they think he's got a piece of God in him. I'm very excited for that. I'm very scared. Whatever they're
Yeah.
planning here, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to fucking work out like they hope.
I was like, okay. At first, I was like, oh, they're gonna dethrone the king or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
And then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, sounds like he's not a king. Sounds like he's like God and stuff. Like it is crazy. Like the way
He is,
like how are they
he
gonna
is
capture him? They're gonna tie him up in his house. Like it's just so funny. Like the plan is just it's just so silly now that we know the context. You know.
I'm curious to see if they ever reach him. Is he actually a pathetic, weak, just
Uh,
normal person, you know, who's just got a legend built around him, you know, because of whatever powers he's been able to grasp from whatever stuff they have? Or is it just going to be the
Like
Emperor
with
when
Oz?
they reach him? Yeah, is it going to be Wizard of Oz or is it going to be Star Wars?
uh,
That's my question.
Which
I
are
don't
you
know.
hoping for?
Oh, Star Wars for sure.
Oh yeah, and that he's so old. Like
Hmm.
that's so
Only
interesting.
now at the end do you learn true power, you know.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
All right. We'll move on to chapter 5 with the epigraph. I don't even understand what I'm supposed to do. The terrorist philosophers claim that I'll know my duty when the time comes, but that's a small comfort. The deepness must be destroyed, and apparently I'm the only one. It ravages the world even now. If I don't stop it soon, there will be nothing left of this land but bones and dust.
We know how that went.
I'm just beginning to have all these theories and ideas in my head about what's happening from these.
Well, you got to
Well,
share. That's the whole point.
oh, I don't know. I don't want to start theorizing yet.
What?
Like,
That's what people are listening for.
all right,
They want to hear how right or wrong your theories are.
it just really feels like, or I just imagine something from that one is that it's not the past, it's actually the future where this person is like dealing with the mess that our guys are gonna make because they think, oh yeah, let's just rebel, let's do this, but we don't really know what the consequences of that is yet. So
Do you think they're going to make it worse than it already is?
yeah, I
Well,
think they're
yeah, but
gonna.
before they referenced greenery and stuff, you know. So,
uh I think it will be good and bad because they'll be like, okay, we
yeah.
got this stuff back. The Earth is green again, but it's terrible. Like
Hmm,
even worse people are in charge now, or there's a constant war happening because something got broken. You know, that kind of stuff.
let's see.
Kind of like the Dune epigraphs, because those were all told, from like stories
Mhm.
in the
What?
future.
Oh,
No,
I
that's
haven't.
right from the beginning, you know, because they talk about this stuff that is not happening yet.
And
Oh, okay.
it sets up some of the stuff because you read the epigraphs like, oh shit, and then like the
Hmm.
next chapter or two, you see what led to that moment. So it's like building you up. So
Uh,
all right, some good stuff's gonna happen, some bad stuff's gonna happen.
okay. So they already did it in Dune. Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Yep, and
So my
Brad Sanderson,
theory is wrong.
that's not wrong.
No. Just because
Okay.
something was done in Dune doesn't mean it's not
No,
allowed to be
you
done
can't ever
again.
do an idea again, Justin. One and done. That's how
They
everything
had
is.
sandworms in Beetlejuice, Sheta.
Mm, yeah, but they didn't have it in a desert.
It wasn't a desert. The deserts of Mars. It was even an alien planet desert.
What if? Yeah, that's probably because it's probably the same spot. That's all.
Okay, no, I'm done. I'm done. We're
Dune
not
is on the
doing the.
Dune's on Arrakis.
Yeah, that's what they call it, is what Sheta will say.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the Dune Beetlejuice shared universe theory here, Sheta. No
Is
one
that a
wants
thing?
to hear about that. No, that's not a thing.
Well, it is now, I guess.
It'll be confirmed in the next Beetlejuice movie.
Oh God.
I was like, oh, Dune's popular. Let's just tie it together. Like,
That's
I
why they'll have
wouldn't put
like
it past them.
Timothy
yeah.
Chalamet will show up.
Oh my gosh.
Once they say
Mm,
Atreides, 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 he appears.
No, this
I
is
hate
too
this.
much. You have
You're
Timothy
right. It'd be
Chalamet, and you're like,
Madib. What's that, Sheta?
then you start doing like, wait a minute. Beetlejuice was made by Tim Burton, who also made a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna play
Yeah.
Willy Wonka and the
You know,
Dune guy.
Sheta, you say this all as a joke. Oh God, you're right. You say this all as a joke, Sheta. But with how like a lot of modern, I mean, you saw Space Jam too. Culture's going in this direction already. You know.
Eh.
I
So
mean,
it's
you've seen
possible.
Sheta, you've seen Fortnite. Everything is going to be canon with everything soon enough.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be junky. This all makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Fortnite,
Are we okay?
so
Brandon Sanderson Fortnite has started.
kind of.
Ooh.
So at one
Whoa.
point, Kelsier was a person that you could play as and download and play as in Fortnite.
What? You're making that up?
No, the only pure literary character, no movie, no video game, nothing. Kelsier was in Fortnite.
What the hell? Did I miss my chance to do that?
Yes. I don't think it's been
No.
available since 2020 or 2021.
Well,
Wow.
Sheta, I guess we weren't off topic.
Yeah. Man, when are we gonna have Hank Reardon show up in Fortnite?
Just get all these literary characters.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Where did I? Here we go.
I'm gonna tell you, Sheta, Hank Reardon would not like Fortnite. Oh my God, you're not fucking lying. I still didn't believe you. It's in the chat.
That's just the promo image of Kelsier in Fortnite.
Dear Lord, I didn't know that this was that popular.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is what I don't like about Fortnite, though. Things come and go so fast.
Well, you got to be
Yeah.
playing when the thing. That's what they want. They want you to come in for the thing you like and then stay around.
But I will be so sad when I can't
you
play
get
as
to
him.
No, if you unlock it, you get to have it forever, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never ever played, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think last seen in a store was 935 days ago. So I don't think.
Well, I'm rethinking all my opinions about Fortnite now, Joe.
I still wouldn't play it.
Oh my god. They even have his little coin. Sorry. Okay. This is so weird. This has to be a fan-made thingy, not real.
No, that's real.
You don't know what kind of stuff they got in there, Sheta.
Like, yeah, Mistborn, you get his glass swords and then his coin. Like, those are all pieces of his action figure.
Literally anything they can get their hands on, they try to put in that game.
Have they ever? No, never. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that'll become an off-topic thing. What's that?
But like I said, he's the only purely literary character that's been in the game.
That is so weird.
Why, I wonder? Did it get really popular or something on like TikTok or something?
Fortnite has the stereotype of just being for young people, but they don't want that. They want to be for everyone on the planet, you know?
Oh, they want money?
Yes, they want all the money they can possibly make.
All right. So let's leave the Fortnite discussion. Sheta, any other theories you had on the epigraph? Or was that the only one? Okay.
So also that maybe he's related. Maybe the character is related to either Kelsier or Ven.
Or both.
Or who? Oh, Ven?
Ven, yeah.
Are you still shipping them? Could it be their child?
It could be. It could be their child. Now that he's got a dead wife, even more likely that they're going to hook up.
I don't think you understand how that works.
Sometimes, at first I was like, "Oh, dead wife. He's not gonna go for it." Then I was like, "Oh, he's kind of crazy." So, yes, they went back up again. The likelihood of that happening.
A crazy guy who mourns his dead wife and is doing everything to avenge her is the exact kind of guy who's not.
Sorry, I didn't mean crazy. I meant unstable. Unstable.
I can see the difference.
Also,
but like this kind of singularly minded guy, you know, they're the last person who are going to be looking for that kind of stuff.
Add in the rush of drugs, which they are totally doing.
Those are not drugs.
Just in the way they get all, we're going to get these medals. Like, yeah, everyone's on those.
Nothing implied that.
Yeah, after that, the whole crew was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a pretty good load, huh?" And they're all in now.
That's
You
not how
know,
I interpreted it.
I can tell you the exact metals that they're drinking that Kelsier has. His vial has iron, steel, tin, pewter, copper, bronze, zinc, and brass. Which of those are getting him incredibly high?
She didn't
This is
say
a
hi. She
magical
said
world
addictive.
that, yeah, gives them effects. Those don't give us effects in real life. I mean, I have never tried to snort iron, but that's what's happening.
A note to our viewers: do not snort iron.
No, yeah, don't do it. It won't give you powers unless you're a Mistborn.
Yes, we'll just protect ourselves from the lawsuit there.
Well, iron also if you're just an iron mist.
Yeah, those are the only two um, reasons you should snort iron.
No, I'm gonna say just don't snort anything at all, unless a doctor who you trust tells you to.
Brand Sanderson did say when he was asked that snorting would, I believe he said that snorting would work for getting the power. You just need to have it inside you in some.
Yeah, see?
Okay, you know
That
what? You guys want to get sued? You have fun. I have nothing to do with this.
All right, so we'll get into chapter 5. So Kelsier, Doxson, and Vin are still in the lair after the meeting is over and the others had left.
Doc says that they're going to need a smoker.
But then Clubs comes in, followed by a teenage boy, and asks if the soother is gone. Kelsier answers that Breeze left, but it shouldn't matter to Clubs because he wouldn't be affected by Breeze's soothing anyways. Clubs says that soothers can still be manipulative with or without powers. But Clubs says that he's in on the plan, and he doesn't care about the money. He figures that they're gonna fail anyways, but this way he can spit in the Lord Ruler's face as he goes. And then Clubs leaves along with the other guy that came in with him.
Funny because when
And
he
Kelsier's
left, I was like, if he was just going to be the guy to get cold feet, I felt like they put too much work into him and too much description, so I was all confused. So then when he comes back, I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense then.
I knew he'd come back.
You knew it?
Yeah, what he said when he left, I don't know, I just felt like he wasn't convicted enough
Yeah.
about. He was kind of like, this is just crazy. I can't even think about it, but he wasn't 100% against it.
Mm.
All right. And then Kelsier, he's talking with Doxson and Vin, and he says that he's going to need more atium. He had spent most of it on Orsier's contract and then used the last of it at Trestine's plantation. So then Kelsier, Dox, and Vin go to the roof. Kelsier thinks back to years before when he had become the infamous crew leader in Luthadel. Mayor had been a tin eye, but he and Dox had no allomancy. Together they had stolen from the most powerful men in the Final Empire. Mayor had died before Kelsier snapped and gained his allomantic powers, so she never saw him with powers, and she will never see what he will do with them.
That was an ominous line to me.
Before the nobility had feared him, and it took a trap set by the Lord Ruler to capture him. Now the Final Empire will shake before he is finished with it. So then Kelsier asks which house is the strongest right now, and Doc says that is House Venture. Kelsier decides that is who he will rob. He puts on a cloak made of hundreds of long ribbon-like strips, a mist cloak. He leaps off the roof and uses steel pushes and iron poles to move through the air. So pretty much because he's connected to all the metal, and when he burns steel or iron, he gets these little, he can see where all the metal is. And then, with steel, he's able to push directly off something. Then with iron, he can pull himself towards something.
I loved the description of how this magic stuff worked. I wasn't, that into the magic in the first book, but in this book, I really, really enjoy how they described it. And the things like to be careful to not, what was it, pull something that weighs more than you or push against something that weighs less because it'll fuck up your whole jumping system. I just thought this power was too goddamn cool.
Yeah, when they're describing it, it's like, I feel like Spider-Man with this description. I was like, this could be a really cool game. So that's why when I saw the Fortnite thing, I was like, that's, I would have loved to play that. Because I was like, I see you just like misting around buildings and things with those powers.
Yeah, having the little kind of glow that he sees to the metals around him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
that did feel very video gamey.
Yeah, the blue string.
Does Brandon Sanderson play video games, Joe? You said he doesn't watch anime. Is he a game guy?
Oh man, I know. One I know for a fact he has played was. I know he had played Final Fantasy X for a fact because there's one book that he wrote that has some inspiration from that.
Yeah, but I mean games
The
like
other ones, the
jump
other
around
ones,
games like this.
I'm not going to be sure of. I'll assume he
Mm.
probably has, but I won't know as a guarantee.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
It
enjoyed
is.
all this too much. It was too fun. And especially putting him in this cartoony cloak thing that just will look like frickin' Ragman as you jump around on the buildings. I thought was too fun.
Yeah, it's
Puts
like
a
let me
lot
put
of
on
thought
my
into
superhero costume.
yeah. He puts a lot of thought into the
Yeah.
visuals of this stuff, even though you're never going to get to see it.
Now those covers that are like manga covers make a lot more
Mhm.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mist cloak, it's kind of designed as a way to hide the Mistborn because it will go along with the mists around them and obscure their body shape and
Yeah.
everything.
That's what they say, but we all know
Sure.
it's just to
Yeah.
make him look fucking kick ass.
It's just badass looking.
Well, there's both.
Well, the best stuff is always both.
Don't forget his rule 0, rule of
Mhm.
cool.
Rule of cool is an important one.
Oh, yep. It's definitely one of my
And
laws.
yep, and while Kelsier is doing all this, he's also burning tin because that raises all of his senses.
Mhm. That element of it is too cool too. See, that's what makes it really work for a book. Is the different things he's got to burn, because then when he describes it, he's not like, if you just describe, oh, he's just jumping around, you don't feel what it's like to be doing that. But because he's got to be making all these quick choices about what materials he's using and stuff, it makes it really interesting to actually read as opposed to watch.
All right, so then Kelsier arrives at Cape Venture, and immediately he slices a guard's throat. And that guard
Unstable.
was likely a lesser nobleman, the enemy. And if it were a Ska soldier enticed to betraying his power for a few coins, then Kelsier was even happier to send such a man into their eternity. And Kelsier moves more, and he goes between two guards and pushes off of each of their armor, sending them flying off the building. Kelsier goes to the conservatory, searches around through it, and he eventually finds a safe, and he pulls it from the wall using his almancy. More guards arrive, and Kelsier kills them very quickly.
As far as Kelsier was concerned, any man who upheld the final empire also forfeited their right to live.
Man, this whole time reading this, Kelsier is exactly like I hoped he would be. Like, he's just saying everything. Like, as much as I love Trathan, Kelsier is the exact opposite end of the spectrum of my favorite archetype of character.
And then 8 more guards come in, and they are haze killers. And haze killers are people specifically trained to fight Allomancers, so they have no metal on them whatsoever. And, we get a long extended fight scene. I won't go through all of it because that's quite a bit to describe. But pretty much, Kelsier's fighting them. He stabs one in the chest, killing him. And Kelsier takes off his coin pouch, and launches at a person, uses it to push that guy off of the building. Then the other ones kind of get up, and he's going to have trouble with it. But then Kelsier gets a hold of a silver ingot on a desk. And at that point, it's pretty much game over. He, throws it back on the guard. I remember at one point, like a guy, it's behind him. He just pulls it towards him, getting the guy in the back of the head. He grabs a guy, spins him around, gets him in the back, all this. And eventually he's down to K's, and then that man just runs away.
I'm just this paperweight is so powerful. He should just have one on him the whole time. Like, he can kill 100 guys.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy to carry around.
Well, the problem
My thinking
is,
was, that it would mess with his travel, right?
it's not that. The problem is if you're going into a fight and you go up against another Allomancer or Mistborn, now that's a weapon for them too. If you go up against somebody else that can, push or pull metals.
Let's see.
Like throughout the story, you'll keep hearing people talking about having dueling canes with them and stuff. Those are pretty much canes that are made of like pure wood, and they use them to fight. And since there's no metal, you can't have a Mistborn or like a Misting be able to push off it and turn into against you.
I see. This part reminded me, or I imagined the scene like the scene when like all the guards come to get Magneto and stuff, and they have like plastic guns and things.
I had a few Magneto thoughts during this whole thing too.
Yeah, okay.
Just because it's the same kind of awesome metal. What is it about specifically controlling metals that's so badass compared to just controlling anything?
Because it's like you have to. Metal is also something we all think is like really strong material and stuff.
Yeah, that's probably why,
Like
right?
our bullets are made of metal. Our swords are like it's all like just weapons and armor.
Yeah.
Like so.
You're right. Yeah, that does make sense. It's it's a very almost instinctually like useful, powerful element, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then our coins and things are made of too, in gold. Like we just have a lot of value in metal.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
then I
that is
think it's
weird that we have that that specific fantasy.
yeah. I also think it's how much is just sitting around that you don't really think about too.
Yeah, it's all smart. You got to think about like, okay, what's metal? Like, what can I use and
Yeah,
stuff like
that's true
that. Like,
too. That's probably an element of it.
this also
When-
reminded me of Metreon using his coins a little bit.
Oh, there's a reference nobody gets. Yeah, I had some nightmare, like horrified, almost PTSD flashbacks to DMing when one of our players is using what's that spell called, dancing objects or whatever. I would just have 100 coins come at the enemies.
Control object? I don't
No, I don't
remember.
remember what it's called.
Just having
Yeah.
all these coins just always fucked up dragons so much.
Yeah,
They're not doing much. You're rolling a d4 to do damage, but when you have 20 of them, each going around each other, so they all get advantage.
Yeah.
it adds up.
It
I felt
crits
the
every
pain these.
at least once.
I felt the pain these guards were feeling.
All right. So then more men come into the room, and they were Allomancers. Kelsier realizes that it's time to leave, and he leaps out the window. And while he's going down, he's able to like grab the safe with a pull. He's up against the wall, and he's like using his Allomancy to pull the safe down with him. Eventually, it comes down. They both fall to the ground. He stops up where he hits, and the safe breaks open when it hits the ground. Inside of it, Kelsier is able to get a pouch of gemstones, a couple of tens of thousands boxing letters of credit, and then he also finds a small pouch with atium. He also sees nearby the guard's body they had pushed out with his coin pouch, so he's able to go back and pick back up his own coin pouch. And he thinks that even if he hadn't found the atium, any night that ended with a group of dead noblemen was a successful one in Kelsier's mind. And that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, too fun, this one. Really
I was-
differentiates it from Elantris with all this superhero action stuff,
Mhm.
which we only saw a glimpse of at the end of that book.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but this is all.
I didn't see it coming this soon, but it was a really good way to explain to us how all this works without, boring us by actually explaining it with words.
Yeah, the best way. Let me just show you
Mm-hmm.
how cool it is, actually. I thought we wouldn't see this kind of thing till like Vin gets all trained and stuff like that,
Yeah, I thought we'd see it through her training and then eventually see her do it and all this boring stuff. And I did not want to
Yeah.
spend like 500 pages just doing only that. It'll be more interesting now to see her get trained and stuff now that I actually have a context for what the stuff even is.
hmm I thought that's just how it usually goes. Like we have the new person as our eyes, and then like they get introduced to this as we get introduced to it,
Mm-hmm.
So like we learn while she learns. So I'm glad we
Which
just
they
skip all
did.
that.
They did to explain it to us a little bit in the first place, But then when we had enough context to follow what was going on without thinking this is just a bunch of nonsense, then they gave it to us, which is a lot of fun.
And even with quite know all the powers are so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I'm trying to think because you have
Oh, we only know I think we only know what, 3 of them.
well, you have the push and pulls, the steel
Mhm.
push, iron pulls.
Oh, are those 2 separate powers? Yeah, I didn't realize
Yes.
that. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. Steel pushes, iron pulls. You have
And then tin raises your awareness, your
Yep,
senses. I mean,
tin does senses. Pewter raises your strength and like durability. And I don't think it said which metal it is, but you have soothing, which is what Breeze does and what Vin did. And then it also didn't say which metal, but you also have smoker, so what clubs can do. So that's 6.
what's the little thing that Vin has? What are her earrings made
Wait.
out of?
Wait. There was one other one. You also had because Vin, she soothed, but then to test her, he also had her raise his emotions, the opposite of soothing. So that's 7.
I thought it was funny when he had the tin going, and he's like, "Man, I wish not all of my senses would have been raised because
Yeah.
I'm
That's
barefoot right
interesting
now."
too. That's the kind of stuff you can also only really do in a book.
hmm
Right now, there's one more of the basic metals that you still don't know what it does. And then Kelsier had mentioned that there were 2 high metals as well, so you won't know what those are. And then whatever the 11th metal.
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested about is the secret metal.
Oh yeah, I can't believe he's never tested it. That's
I've
when he's
never
gonna
found
go
it.
ape shit.
Probably the immortality metal.
Well, it said that he would. Yeah, it would kill the Lord
Mhm.
Ruler.
My assumption is it has something to do with that. I have no evidence.
Really?
Because
All
I
right,
don't
so
believe that he got his powers from God, you know?
Yeah, you never do.
Yeah, I'm always an atheist until proven otherwise in books.
I think I said last time, but I'm always the opposite. I always like to
Yeah.
think that stuff's more fantastical until I'm proven otherwise.
Mhm.
I think I'm the same.
All right. Anything else from this actiony chapter you two want to go over?
Just, I love how many people he killed, and I love the glee he had while killing them. Like I said, this is my other absolute favorite archetype of character. So I was so happy in the beginning when he killed that whole house. And I was so happy when he's not just killing all these people, but is enjoying it so thoroughly.
Yeah, I was like, do you want to go play Fallout now, Justin?
Yeah, pretty much.
This is like, I did not expect him to be so bloodthirsty. I'm a little scared.
That's not bloodthirsty. It's
He
scarier than that.
is. It's like he's messed up about it.
Yeah, but
He's not gonna.
bloodthirsty likes the violence. He likes them being dead, you know?
Okay,
How it
whatever that
happened.
term
Yeah.
is, like where you're just like, yeah, I'm just fuck them, fuck all of them. I don't care,
Well, you've
like
seen
I
what
don't. I'm. They might be like ska too, but they decided to work with them. Fuck them again. Like he does that. That's the attitude.
I like that. If they were Ska who betrayed their own kind, then I'm double happy. As
Yeah,
far as
the
I'm
worst.
concerned, anyone who props up this thing has forfeited their life. It's just too much, too fun and too dark, you know? I really love characters like that.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
Sheeta, you
pretty
see
much
what
like the people. Anyone who's got a cause that justifies their killing, I'm always very interested in, it sounds like.
Yeah,
you've seen what the noblemen do. Maybe it's fine to kill all of them.
they are terrible, but like this is like where it's so extreme. Like he he no longer thinks of them as human, and that's always dangerous.
Yeah,
Like
I love
no
these characters.
excuses.
Yeah. I love these characters who kill everyone, but any philosophy that says all of this group deserves to die is a flawed, bad, immoral philosophy, you know?
hmm
There
So
is
you're
no
saying
situation where everyone deserves to die. I'm saying what?
so you're saying you're not pro genocide.
No. Not pro genocide, not pro revenge slaughter, not pro wipe out a whole family, wipe out a whole clan, you know?
The babes in their cribs, like that
Yeah.
kind of mentality.
I'm a
You know,
normal person. I
you know,
may talk differently, but I'm very normal.
It's different. It's
feel
all
bad.
fictional. It's not. It's not real.
Yeah.
You're
Feel
making me
bad about
feel
what?
bad about the end of Mass Effect 3 where I killed all the AI.
Hey, I even saved the Reapers, so that's my real philosophy there.
What was the one that happened if you shot the little boy?
Originally, nothing, which is what I did the first time I played through. But if you do it again, he just says, so be it, as if you had refused to do it, and then the world just ends above you, which I think is so dumb. I like that you can say fuck this choice and let everything die. That was such an interesting ending to play. I hate that shooting that boy triggers that so much, because my first instinct was shoot him 3 times and then run off to make that stupid choice.
I didn't even think to shoot him. I didn't think it'd do anything.
I didn't either, which is why I did it before they did the extended version. I hated that they changed it to that. Because then the first time I played, that would have been my canon ending.
That's what you get for shooting a little boy.
Fuck that
Even if
little
it,
boy. I still don't believe he's real. I subscribe to the indoctrination theory to all our listeners out there. Nothing will change my mind.
I don't know if anyone will know what we're talking about.
At least one person will, and they'll be like, yeah, the indoctrination theory. Fuck yeah.
People out there will have played Mass Effect.
And
Yeah,
listen
you
to
can't-
random podcasts. I don't know.
No, and listen to random YouTube videos and theories online to explain
Yes,
why that
that's
ending's so
what it is.
stupid pre-extended cut. That's a very specific audience. That might just be me.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to Scadrial and go back into Cosmere stuff. Just like last week, we met a few more characters, so we'll get your thoughts on them. How do you two feel about Hammond?
I love
Honestly, at
him.
this point, yeah, Sheta will have them all reasoned out, but I don't know who is all who yet. But I'll answer in a couple chapters. Go on, Sheta.
Hammond's a muscle guy. He seems like a really nice, like, really just likable. I think he'll be a nice guy. I like him.
Yeah.
He also just because he's the one that told the mind control guy to stop mind controlling and stuff, you know.
He's not mind controlling.
Well, until I know the proper terms, that's what happened.
Soothing.
Because yeah, okay.
Joe, if you come up and soothe me into doing something, I'm going to call it mind control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be picking hairs at that point.
It'll go more into it later, but you realize it's...
No, they said in the chapter that it wasn't, because she said, hey, stop doing that. And they said, see, she does still have free will. So they went into that. I just think I certainly would feel that way if it happened to me.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then what's your feelings about Breeze?
He's a creep.
He's a creep.
He's a creep, and he's like the type of person... I think it's really interesting because he's the type of person who has known about this power for like his whole life and like has never done anything for himself because he can make other people do it for him.
That's a lot of assumptions, Sheta.
And he's really petty that he like was like, "Can you still bring me my drink?" I was like, "Fuck you!" Like, no, you fucking get it. Like, how dare you do that to me and then still ask for it? Like, he has no like. Ugh, I was so mad.
You may be right, but the way I interpreted it was more he's using that to kind of get a sense for the new people around, you know?
No, that's just what he does. He doesn't even know who she is, and he like did it to her.
Yeah, that's why I interpret it that way, was because he doesn't know who she is.
Yeah, but you don't do that to people.
Yeah,
you
but
just
you
don't...
can see
what?
if they know about
That's
this.
not okay.
You can see if they know about this stuff, and you can see how they react. If they're more of a calm person or more of like a person who's going to freak out about
That's not
things.
what he was doing. He
And
thought she was some...
Also, so you can see if you're going to be... anyone you don't know in a thing like this is going to be... you got to trust your life in what they're doing, you know? So getting a sense for their personality, I think, would be very useful. That's how I interpreted it. I have no more evidence of that, though, than your very reasonable reaction.
They no, I will say that I will fight you with that because they immediately thought she was just a twixt, like person, like a small person that's an in-between person. So they didn't think she was a big deal or anything. He just wanted a drink.
If I had that power, I would be using it on everyone all the time just to get to know him better.
No, he didn't care about knowing anyone better.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's only asking her for a drink. It's not like he's making her do anything bad.
Dude, with that power, asking anything is almost immoral, you know? Especially when people don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. And he knew what he was doing. She grabbed the best like wine in the house to give to him. Like, he was doing it on purpose. That's why I liked the other guy better, because he stopped and he knew what he was doing. See, that's how you know he's the nice guy, and the mind control guy is the less nice guy. The creep.
All right.
It's like the purple man, Justin.
That is not like the purple man.
He is. Like, I don't know if people like...
Purple man is literally mind control. Cannot
same thing.
You physically cannot refuse purple man.
Well, he's the same personality type as him.
Jesus, Sheta, that's the biggest insult I've ever heard on this guy. Let's see if you're right or not.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what about Clubs? How do you feel about him?
I like him. I like him because he doesn't like Breeze. He doesn't like those types. He immediately he didn't want to be around him. And I like that he came back and that he seems like with all this stuff, like everyone either being like a slave or a noble, he seems like he's a man in his own mind. I don't know if that makes sense. He just seems to... he has a lot of his own feelings about it, is what I mean. Justin, do you have an opinion?
About Clubs?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not so good with the characters when they're first introduced. I get better later. I did like that, what he said about why he left. I thought that made him really interesting, that he didn't want to be around while those... you know, he wanted to be sure. If he's going to make a decision this big, he wants to be sure of it. That's what struck me about him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Yeadon.
I liked him a lot. I thought he was so funny. He's the leader of the rebellions.
That name I do remember.
The voice that the audiobook narrator does is so funny for him. He sounds like all like small and weak. It's like, yes, the rebellion has tried really hard to do all this stuff, like we've done a lot. We just can't get people to join us. Like it's so funny sounding.
It was interesting because Kelsier, thank you. He's very revolutionary. He wants to smash this whole system down, but he does not seem to like the revolutionary leader that much, And it's really interesting to me to see that. Yeah.
He kind of makes fun of him. Like, what have you guys done all this time? Like they're ineffective, Like they may not have all the resources, but like they haven't done anything.
Yeah, but even in real life, like a really smart leader doesn't need a lot of resources to do a lot of damage, So as somebody who wants things to fall so much, he's probably very frustrated with how little they achieve and stuff, I would assume,
Mm.
So I find that interesting. I'm just surprised that he wasn't portrayed like a noble revolutionary leader and portrayed more like a normal guy doing the best he can with what little he has. But also the part where he says, "You're not just going to let him go, right? You're going to kill him." When Clubs leaves, I thought was really interesting because, I mean, that reveals a lot about how he thinks. He's talking like somebody who one teeny little thing going wrong could make his whole entire revolution fall apart.
Yeah.
Like,
but he does care about it, though. That's which is interesting. Like,
I didn't get the sense that he's bad or corrupt or anything, but. I mean, he paid all this money for this cause, But I'm always reluctant to trust revolutionary leaders any more than the totalitarian people in charge, because, I mean, the type of personality who's gonna do that is not always the type of person you can trust the best when things settle down.
It'd be like Hunger Games. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or what about Monkey D. Dragon?
We haven't seen how that's gonna go yet.
I have a weird feeling about him.
I'm not saying revolutionary leaders are always, violent, psychotic, power-hungry, horrible people, but it does seem to happen quite a lot in real life where once they take charge, things are exactly the same at the end of the day.
All right, and then we didn't meet him, but so we got, once again, Kelsier is mentioning that he and Dox had met with his brother Marsh, and that Marsh wasn't going to come to the meeting, but he will join them eventually. But the others looked skeptical for that, and Vin believes that there's some sort of tension between Kelsier and Marsh. Theory, just throw it out there. What do you think this tension could be about?
I can't believe he had a brother. That was so weird.
My theory, out of nowhere, based on nothing, is that it's his brother-in-law who is a noble, and that's why there's tension.
Oh,
his wife or girl's thing. That's out of absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
Wait, his wife's what? His wife's brother?
Yeah, or the woman that he loved.
So you're saying he was a noble?
Yeah, why not?
Well, yeah, she has powers. She has powers.
Did it say that?
Yeah, she said they called her a tin burner.
Yeah, she's
well, there you go. There you go.
So that actually was based on something. Just that's cool. Remember, I like that theory.
Remember, like if you don't be full noble, you could be half ska.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kelsier and Vin and pretty much the entire crew is ska.
Really? Even Breeze?
Yeah. What makes you think otherwise?
He was in noble clothes, though. I thought he was a noble sympathizer. Wait, never mind. Yeah. The rebellion leader kind of didn't like them because they didn't act like ska. So, interesting. All
right, Sheta, what's your reasoning for the tension between Kelsier and Marsh?
Well, probably Justin's theory for Elantris.
No. You get what?
They were both in love with Mare, with the same girl.
Jeez. You think he fell in love with his own sister, Sheta?
No, Justin. Well, maybe. Maybe they're like the Lannisters. Oh. Now I'm getting carried away. No, they just are normal brothers who fell in love with the same girl. Maybe they were even like orphans together and they grew up together, but then she chose Kelsier. And then like his brother's mad because like Kelsier got her killed and stuff. Yep. It would make sense because all the rest of the crew know all the business,
Mhm.
know all the drama. So
All right, and then so they got this 11th medal, and it's supposed to be the Lord Ruler's weakness. What does it do? What will it do
What?
that will
I
kill
already
the Lord
said my
Ruler?
theory. I think it's the secret behind his immortality, and either it's just that, and learning about it gives you knowledge of how to stop it, or the power that gives him that leads to what could take it away as well. Some kind of you know, like a connection to life, where you could control and manipulate life in the way you can with the feelings, like controlling the biological elements. That's what I'm trying to say.
ooh, interesting. Oh, it'll be like life and death. So you can take life like Big
Well,
Mom.
no, it would be like the energy that gives life in this world, or even just the basic ability to manipulate how your inner biology and DNA works, or somebody else. So it'd be like, what's the killing curse in Harry Potter, Sheta?
Avada Kedavra?
Yeah, like you could just do that basically.
Oh.
That's my based on nothing theory.
My theory is it's a medal of the gods and it'll give you god powers, basically. So basically the same thing. But I imagined it like in Hercules when when he's a god he has like the glowy on him. And then when
Mm-hmm.
he's not, he's just mortal. So it's a little piece, and if you drink it, you have that power.
So like if you get it, you become like the Lord King guy.
Yeah. Then he can
So-
fight him.
Mm.
Right, you're saying it's a god medal that will give them powers of the gods.
Mhm.
They have the crew mostly, no Marsh yet, but will a member of the crew betray them?
Well, if this is a generic heist movie, yes. I don't know that it will, though. I think that things are going to go wrong, but I think they're going to go wrong in a more interesting way than that.
That's true. Yeah, I have learned to not expect that typical things to happen in his books. Something else will happen, I feel like. But this betrayal is kind of a theme, and trust, it's kind of a theme in the book. So
True.
I think he might be playing with us, the reader, by
Vin could be the one to betray him, even.
yeah, no, I totally see. I think that will be a pivotal moment when she decides to either betray them or to not betray them. Has she learned trust? At that point, or will she still be like in her old ways? So we'll see in the adventures leading up to it if she finally trusts Kelsier and is 100% loyal now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be interesting. Yeah, but who betrayed them? That's all.
Well, if you had to pick, who would it be? Are you saying Vin?
Mhm.
Well, we know who Sheta would pick.
What, the creep?
Yeah.
I don't know. He seems like, even though he's kind of creepy, what we've learned about him is well, I don't know if we've learned about it. No, never mind.
We've learned nothing about him.
He likes
No, you
wine.
gotta say, Sheta. You gotta say for the viewers.
Well, oh, never.
And if you
Well,
want to include Marsh, you could throw him in too. They've talked about him.
that's true. Maybe he betrayed him the last time, and that's what the tension is. Everyone's like, we're not working with him again. But maybe it was an accident.
Then ask theory question, because Justin brought it up earlier. So will the Lord Ruler be actually like a super powerful godlike person, or is it going to be like the Oz great and powerful, just the man behind the curtain?
I think it would be more interesting to have him be more powerful, even though
I
I like
agree.
it. Yeah, either that or he's a front and there's a actual bigger power behind the scenes.
Yeah. Let's hope both. That's my favorite version.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Joe, I vote that he's going to be the Emperor and Oz the Great and Powerful.
What
'Cause
there's
he's just going to be a figurehead for something even bigger and worse beyond him.
and what's this bigger and worse thing?
I guess it would have to be Unicron. Something
Unicron.
planet scale. Something huge, something really big.
All
Something
right.
that's just using this whole system. This is all based on nothing except my fan fiction here. Something that is using this entire system to manipulate everyone for its purposes. whatever's causing the deep. That's my new theory. So
The
actually,
deepness?
the deepness. It's some kind of horrible nightmare metaphysical thing beyond all, and we're gonna learn that our leader guy, he's actually doing all this to try to protect us from it. They'll take
Like
him out, and what's that?
you said, the deep is like Cthulhu,
The
like
deepness.
Yes.
something.
The deepness.
I see.
They'll beat this guy, and then they'll learn that he was just holding back something worse. There we go.
All right, so they're going to go, they'll fight, kill Lord Ruler, and then there's going to be something else that's coming to try to ruin the planet.
Yep, then the Yuzan Vong or whatever it is come in and just start fucking everyone up. That's my current official theory.
The Yuzan Bond.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll go right into that, into asking about, we've done 2 episodes. We're about a sixth way through the book. So now, just like we did last time, how's this book going to end? What's going to be the plot of the rest of this book? Don't worry about the
I
other.
just said. Don't worry about what?
Okay, is that just so, Justin? Is that your theory for just this book, or is that the whole trilogy?
Oh, that's just for this book.
All right.
It'll be like the end of what I'm thinking of actually, I guess, is the first Wonder Woman movie, where she kills the general guy and then Ares is behind it all. Something like that. Based on nothing. All right, Sheta, let's hear yours.
The theory for the whole rest of the book, is that what the question is?
Yes. Don't worry about the trilogy, just this book.
Okay. I think that their plan is gonna go through fine. Like despite the expectation of things to go wrong, and then that will be all unsettling. That's just what I've been imagining. Is that it actually, like with all the worries and things like that, it actually goes out not without a hitch. Like things will go kind of bad, but it will end up being their plan being successful. So, but then they're gonna be like, well, what does? I don't know. I feel like, but there might be a big twist at the end where whoever gets to be in charge now is not who you expect.
For good or ill?
We don't. For ill would be more interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if you put Kelsier in charge, I don't think he'd do well with all the nobles.
No, exactly. I feel like it would be Kelsier or someone like that.
All right. Now let's
I'm going to
expand
change
it.
mine, Joe. I'm going to change mine. That's the end of the second book that I just said. The first book, they're going to be unsuccessful at killing the Lord Ruler because Kelsier is going to have to make a choice between saving the group and getting revenge, and he's going to have learned a valuable lesson from Vin about, living and not giving into revenge, while Vin is learning a valuable lesson about trusting people, and him making that choice to save them will confirm her trusting choice, and him making that choice will be a big character change for him. That's my current book. Then in the second book, Lord Ruler will die and things will get horrible. All right, that's official now.
All right. Then a third one, because I was about to expand it to what will happen in the trilogy.
Well, if
Somehow
it's
Lord Ruler returned. That's my theory. Go on, Sheta.
shut
Wait,
up.
what?
No, somehow Lord Ruler returned. That's how the third book's going to go.
Like Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, has that been done before? Never mind.
If I'm gonna tie in the what are they, the beginning sections to how I said that was from the future, I imagine some kind of thing where I don't know why, but they're gonna go fight at the mines. I feel like that's gonna be where the big end and confrontation is. They're gonna go fight there, and they will have like buried all that magic metals down there, and then in the future, that person is going to there to dig it up again so that they can win this war that was started back in the past. So I don't know how that's gonna work out. I think halfway through this series, they're gonna have done that, and then all this bad stuff is gonna happen where they have to, like, the metals are even gonna be more rare. And in the end, they're gonna lose their power, and then have to find it again. Just from what those opening ones are hinting at.
All right. And then let's move on to characters and quotes of the week. So, as usual, we'll start off with the characters.
Well, Kelsier, of course.
Is your favorite? I really liked. What's his name? I really liked Ham because I thought he was really nice. I thought that he just is in these kind of things with like I always like that character in like criminal groups. Like he's like the nicer guy. Like he won't be as mean to me because I'm Vin in my head. So
Well, I'm sorry, Sheta, but I'm going Breeze. I found him hilarious.
oh my
I
god.
found all the stuff you hate about it. I just loved it. Where it's like, yeah, can you get me a drink? Well, you're gonna come back anyway, so might as well just bring it over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'd be like, no.
telling Yeadon, yeah, hey, stop talking. You'll sound less stupid then. I just found Breeze in the entire chapter.
Well, that was my favorite quote. The one where he says that. He said it like he cared so much, but he was also like insulting him. Like, hey guy, like you're talking too much and you're coming off really stupid.
That
Like,
is the biggest insult you could give somebody and the
mhm.
meanest way you could say it. Because you're
Yeah.
not saying, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. You're saying, hey, you're stupid. You shouldn't talk because you're revealing it. That's the meanest way to say it.
Yeah.
To be fair, he was saying, oh, there's no such thing as Ska Mistborn in front of
I know.
2 of them.
I didn't say he's not stupid. I'm saying it's the meanest way to tell him that.
Yeah.
I have some bad news to break to you. It turns out you're stupid. Justin, did you have a quote?
Yeah, it was taken, but I'll read it again. But it was, no, this night was not a waste. Even if he hadn't found the atium, any night that ended with a group of dead noblemen was a successful one, in Kelsier's opinion. Just because that's the embodiment of what I was hoping this character would be when I started reading. And so when the book just straight up confirms that to me, I'm very pleased.
All right, then mine. Kelsier talking to Yeadon. Oh, Kelsier said lightly, tell me, what has your rebellion accomplished during its 1,000-year struggle? Where are your successes and your victories? The massacre of Taugir 3 centuries ago, where 7,000 Ska rebels were slaughtered? The occasional raid of a traveling canal or kidnapping of a minor noble official? Yeadon flushed. That's the best we can manage with the people we have. Don't blame our men for their failures. Blame the rest of the Ska. We can't get them to help. They've been beaten down for a millennium. They haven't got any spirit left. It's difficult enough to get 1,000 to listen to us, let alone rebel. I think that pretty much just it just shows exactly what they're up against. That the Ska Rebellion has never really been able to do anything against the Final Empire, and that they've been beaten down for 1,000 years, and just most of them have no hope or no urge to even get up to fight.
Yeah. I thought that was really sad and brutal of him to say too.
All right. Was there anything else in these chapters this week that you two wanted to go over?
Right. She just got to do her quote.
No, I already said mine. Or
Yeah,
I
she did.
didn't get to write it down, but it's that Justin. You can read it for me if you want.
I can read it for you?
It was the
Yeah.
insult from Breeze to Yeadon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just saying that was something you liked about him. I get
Nope,
you.
that was my quote. Yeah.
Anything else from this this part of the book?
Nope.
All right. So we'll look at next week. So next week we'll be doing 3 chapters. Chapters 6, 7, and 8.
Do I have to read chapter 6?
I think that's the longest out of them, so I would hope you do.
All right, I'll skip that one so it'll be easier to get through. I'm sure chapter 7 will explain what happened.
Yes, I'll say previously in the last chapter.
Yeah, because that's how books are written. The next chapter immediately summarizes the last one.
Mhm.
All right. Now I guess we'll jump over to plugs. Plug stuff. Just like last week, we'll go with Sheta first.
Okay. All right. My Instagram for my art is my name, Sheta_low. And then my Instagram for cosplay and fashion is Mermaid Machete. And that's it for now.
You can follow me on all the normal social media apps to see art and comics of varying quality at Profanity Beaver.
All right. Mine's nothing personal. We'll just go with follow the podcast on Twitter, now called Key, a most ancient letter. Cosmere Chron, COSMERECHRON. You can go onto YouTube if you want to, nothing different. But be able to put, comments on each episode. Or if you want to email us directly, cosmirechronicles@gmail.com. And yeah, the usual stuff to go give us reviews on the different review things, ratings on the different podcast things, all that stuff to help us out. All right. So I think that will be about it for this week. So next week, as I said, chapter 6, 7, 8 of The Final Empire. So until then, everyone, go out there and, have fun.
That's time.
I thought I had something better to say, but I don't. Goodbye.
All right. See you later. Bye.